Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachala Ramanaya. On this holy occasion of the Aradhana day of Bhagavan Shri Ramana Maharshi, the Ramana satsang group of the Sydney chapter is blessed to be able to share the beautiful life and teachings of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. As far as Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's life is concerned, there are many places where one can get access to Bhagavan's life story as such. What happened, how he grew up, how he went through the death experience, etc., etc. But his life and how it was led is an example of what he wanted to tell the world, tell any and every aspirant on the spiritual path. It was no doubt an example of an exemplary life led in self. That body, mind, intellect that we call as Ramana Maharshi was in reality the self operating through that body, mind. And his teachings, his blessed teachings, his holy and auspicious teachings were mostly in silence. Because silence is the best mode of transmission for teachings, being the very substratum of action as the result. From silence arises thoughts in consciousness. The thoughts in consciousness act on the brain, and the synaptic impulses give rise to the motor nerves, giving impulses to the hands and legs and speech and other things in the body for actions to be implemented. So silence itself is the basis, substratum, the very fundamental from which action arises. And Ramana Maharshi's teachings were all through silence. Most of the time for ripe, as it were, disciples who had done a lot of sadhana, whose minds were one-pointed and intensely wanting to reach, or whatever, there's no reaching as such, but wanting that goal, as it were, of self-realization, God realization. To each of the aspirants who came to Bhagavan, he, based on their requirements, with love and kindness, catered to their needs. To those disciples, those aspirants who were indulged very much into the world and were conditioned, he would advocate Bhakti Marg, to those who are emotionally oriented, to those who are more intellectually oriented. He administered Jnana Marga, the inquiry method, to investigate, to find out who is this who is wanting that, what we call as self-realization. Because that, he said again and again, is one's true nature. You are not anything other than that. And he guided each aspirant as per their requirements. But his fundamental and his most precise teachings were through the mode of silence. In his very succinct, very precise, and one of the most pointed aphorisms that he used, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi said, when there is an absolutely continuous and dedicated attention, on self as self, revelation happens. There has to be a constant integrated awareness of self as self, constant integrated awareness of silence as silence. When this reaches its apex, with the intensity of attention, the notional I, as it were, drops, because it was not existent in the first instance. It was only imaginary. It was a phenomena, only considered as real. The little I. And that then reveals, because it has no other choice. There is no other choice. You already are the self. When that cloud of ignorance, the veil drops away, there is nothing to achieve, nothing to attain. There is only revealing of your true nature. And that true nature is, you are self. You are silence. The fulcrum based on which all arises. That is the most succinct, most precise aphorism that Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi advocated to every aspirant through the language of words. Because his teachings basically were more the pure Advaitic teachings of Ajatavad, which states that there is no creation as such. There is no creation, as it were. But this world arises And it cannot be discussed because that is the Advaita part of it. In Dvaita, in duality, how can one discuss about non-duality? Because within duality, you are in the changing reality here, changing as it were. How can the discussion be made of the changeless? You are the changeless, behaving temporarily as the changing in this manifestation. And then he went down and he came down to explain to the keen aspirant that there is a concept called Drishti Shrishti Vad, which is the drishti, the seeing of this manifestation, seeing of this world, which is the shrishti, is based on the drishti. The moment the I arises, the little I arises as I, me, myself, immediately the other arises. And all the objectification of the world displays itself as manifestation. When that I is withdrawn, the little I is withdrawn into the self as self. True revelation happens and actions happen as self, as that I, that absolute pure consciousness. Functioning continues as this body, but it does not then get explained as I am the self. It is I am self, this body is in me. I am self, the body is in me. This world, this manifestation, if one can call that the notional appearance, is all within me. So the changeless who I am, the changing is all within this changeless. That was the fundamental teaching of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. And this teaching is so succinct and so precise that as soon as that intense attention is focused on investigating where from this questioner arose, the moment that keen attention on self as self is focused completely and totally as constant integrated awareness, one remains as that ever eternal self which one already is, one already was, is, and will always be, because that is the changeless aspect of that pure, eternal, ever existing reality that you are. That crux of this understanding, if that is understood and intensely taken up as a sadhana, one can be as one is. And that be as you are becomes a reality, not this temporary reality that is seen through the eyes. Let us all use this occasion to implement this and the teachings of Ramana Maharshi into the lives that each aspirant wants to achieve. That was what the purpose was of the life and teachings of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachal Ramanaya. We have all gathered to celebrate Bhagavan Shri Ramana Maharishi's 75th Aradhana Day. This was the day on 14th of April 1950 when he attained Mahasamadhi. Aradhana, what I understand in Hindi, means when you worship your Aradhya, your God, your Lord. You do seva to him, you worship him, you adore him. In Bhagavan's case, we all can adore him and we can worship him by following his teachings, by abiding in self. That is the best way. Bhagavan, before he was in his body and there was a pain due to the cancer, he was asked, is there any suffering? Is there any pain? Bhagavan said, yes, there is pain. There is pain in the body. But there is no mind to suffer. We all should know that suffering is only in the mind. Pain can be there in body, but suffering exists only in our ego, in our I thought. Bhagavan came in our life to bring back us home, our eternal abode. Bhagavan is no other than that pure self in all of us. Only as an act of compassion, he came in our life in this waking dream as Bhagavan to tell us what path we should choose and how to attain that pure self. He is pure self in everyone. He was beyond his body. He was beyond and is everywhere in all of us. His presence is more felt now. We can't say about the time when he was in the body, but we all know that his teaching, his presence is always there with us, guiding us and helping us abiding in self. It's already 75 years since his form has left, but it looks like he is with us and he will be with us, with every being, whoever is the seeker of pure self. Recently, we did a retreat in Rishikesh, and so we would like to share some of the clips of satsang and bhajans from there. Hope they all help you to immerse in the pure self. And this is our small gift on Bhagavan's Aradhana day. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachal Ramanaya. Thank you, everyone.
As a human being, you can only put efforts, but whatever happens is His kripa, His grace. So try to be good in good books with the Lord, so His grace dawns on us. And how to be in good books with Him? We went to this tea stall and we were talking about this, and we were saying, I think Sam was talking about that the Lord will consume us, and I think Ashaji was also saying the similar thing, that Arunachala will consume, it will finish the story. But it has a very nice taste. Lord does not want to take bad egos. You have to be purer from your side. You can't be purest. Purest is that, which is that. But at least you can try to be purer. From tamasic to rajasic to sattvic qualities. You can try. I'm not saying that you will succeed 100%. And that is why they say, you take one step, God takes 10 steps. Which means that you also put effort. You show some willingness. You show some interest in it. You should have longing, mumukshutva. And then He comes in a very subtle way and just takes over everything. He will never take over unless you have interest. Your interest is the most important thing. Sometimes we see, let's say, take Bhagavan's case, that he had a spontaneous realization and permanent realization, which never left him. Though he had permanent, without asking, without getting into spirituality, but he never said that he has not put any efforts. Somehow he was not interested to tell his past births or whatever endeavors he did, but he always said that whatever the result of my spontaneous realization is because of efforts, past efforts. And this past effort nobody sees, because you have not seen that person in past lives. You don't even know your past life. Even in this birth, you can be living with a partner, and how much that partner deeply inside is connected with the source and how much he's trying to be connected with the source, even your partner cannot know, who is living with you all the time. Why is it like that? This is because we only know ourselves. Nobody else knows. We only know ourselves. Not your spouse, not even your so-called God knows about yourself. You know more about yourself. That is why realization is only for us, in a way. Though people say that when you realized, it helps humanity, it helps everyone, it helps everything. But what I would say is, there is one person less on earth. That is what realization means. There is one person less living. We feel presence of an I, that I am doing and I have to do. That also is I, actually. That also is not something that I has disappeared. Then who is there in you who is experiencing bliss, or who is feeling that this power is doing something? Which is that power? Is it separate from you? Or is it you? But you become one with that whom you don't control anymore also. Because as an individual, we always control our body, our body's actions, our mind, our thoughts. We select thoughts, we negate some thoughts, we make some thoughts as very strong about things. We say, this man is very strong-minded or very egoistic. We all have different tendencies. In some things we are very egoistic, some things we don't care. But these are all conditioning of the mind. But then when it drops, there is still that I is there, and this feeling of I amness is there. But there is something has dropped, which was always constantly thinking about, do this, do that. It's not that things don't happen now. Maybe sometimes things happens more. You will see some sages, some enlightened beings, they do so much of charity and so much of work. So their energy flows along with it as it has to happen. You can say, do they have an intention? Yes, always there's a good intention about everything in every realized being. They don't want to harm anyone. The argument's sake, people can say Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi has any intention. I would say no. But then you will see, if a guest comes, he will say, have you fed him? Last dialogue which he said before leaving the body, he said, have you fed the peacocks? Now you can say, why he's having a thought about feeding a peacock when he's leaving the body? To understand that how the bodily actions are happening and a thought which is leading, it has no relationship with that pure energy. You abide in that energy as that, and then whatever is happening with the body mind is not at all an obstacle. But first thing first, this I am the body idea has to be dropped completely and forever. Otherwise, there is no freedom. How can you be free from a body which is certainly going to die one day, and you think it is your death? How then? What is the freedom? There is no freedom. So this bodily idea comes only from our thought processes, which holds I, me, you, they, we, and you can feel it, that whatever happening around you in your world, some things you like, sometimes you dislike, sometimes you want to do, and there is an obstacle, you get angry. Watch this entity which is going through these ups and downs. When you watch that entity intently, and not with emotions or anything, just as a plain observer, some change starts happening in you. You can now see this ego. You know, the spiritual people, they are mostly of sattvic mind, then they come into it. So they are already very pure. But they feel their ego more than anyone who is like a devil. They feel their ego all the time. They have this self-guilt of ego that it's still there and it's still, I can see. You say, no, it will go away. Just do, no, it's still there. And here there'll be a person who has done all the wrong deeds. He doesn't feel any ego. He said, I have no ego. I'm a man of principles or whatever. I'm a self-made man. So understand this subtlety of how profound is the understanding of a seeker, how clearly in his vision is everything, whatever is happening around, happening internally. And because he knows his deficiencies and he observes it diligently, all the deficiencies goes away. They can only go away when you are aware of them. Otherwise, they stay in darkness. They grow in darkness, in your ignorance. And you will realize that all those wrong tendencies was only part of illusion. I am the purest of pure.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. O Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and dying that we are born to eternal life. O Master, grant that I may never seek So much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy.
If you can just take whatever comes to you, whatever way it comes to you, even discomfort comes to you. If you start accepting it, that discomfort becomes the bliss. This, I don't know how many people were there when we went first time and we did the Parikrama, Girivalam. It was raining. We reached at midnight, 12:30. Nobody slept. We got food late and then we went whole night and it was raining heavily and it was Purnima. I think it was so many people there. But there was something about it. And people who have never done, they had boils in their feet, walking bare feet. But the bliss was unimaginable. Grace on everyone, that's what our prayer should be, that grace of Absolute should be on every being who is striving for it. And this should be our universal prayer. People who are already wishing for desires to fulfill in this name and form, He is listening to them, He is giving them whatever they want. But we are on this, so our prayer is everyone who wants to know you, please manifest and then don't go. Yes. Even Bhagavan, he used to read Periya Puranam. And when, or someone was reading for him, let's say, sometimes he was reading. And he started tears rolling and the book used to get wet and then he said, I can't read this, And if you see, Periya Puranam is the story of 63 Shaivat saints, the Shiva's devotees and what they did in their life. It's the story of 63 of those. And very beautiful stories, true stories. And Bhagavan said, you should have to be a stone-hearted to read them. I can't read it. He started crying, And you will say, how can Bhagavan can cry? He's Arunachala Ramana. But there's a heart, no? There's love. That's the most important thing, All realization doesn't make you hard. It makes you soft as butter.
Shiva, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva.
As Bhagavan's put down, that self is the first person, but it doesn't strike you that is there. It is like that. You count everything except that. But when someone hits on you that this is you, then you realize that this is me, which I have always never counted. Because mind counts everything. But it never looks back and sees that you are there. And I believe satsang is an opportunity to know that which is always there. And I would say, if you stay there, whatever is your inherent tendencies, it will help with that. You are adventurous, there will be something adventure in that. You love solitude, there will be solitude in that. And you want to talk heart to heart with someone, you might find that. You don't even have to intention for that. It's something, it takes care of you if you let go and don't go for excessive planning in your mind and just flow. Like the body also tells you whether it is ready to go out for a coffee or not, or whether you should drink or not, or whether you should sleep, whether you should go out, where to go out, what to do. You don't have to think too much. And then you will realize that something is moving spontaneously in this awareness. And you find that there's harmony in everything. Like when the river is flowing, Gangaji is flowing from Gomukh and coming down. And through its course, it meets big boulders and something. And it's not fighting, it just takes turns the way, whatever way, it can find way, it just moves. And if you see the path on Google Map, it would be curvy, sometimes this way, sometimes narrow, sometimes broad. And just flowing, it's just flowing.
मन वांछित फल पाता.
People take passion as that energy. No, passion is Rajasic only. People passionate about becoming the president of America. That's why people follow those people who are leaders, whatever their leaders, because there's so much they feel energy is going there. Ego is actually it is actually creating. If you see, everything is created by egoistic people. All inventions, all discoveries, passive one will be just sitting like that. And that is the reason people think that the Jnani is a useless being on the earth, He has not created any invention, no discovery, no progress, no development, Passivity is the gift of God, if you can. In passiveness, you get that stillness, not in this active doership. You say, I don't want passivity, I want action. Who wants action? Who is interested in action? That means there's a doer who wants to do. That is why this Karma Yoga theory of the Bhagavad Gita has been completely distorted. And everyone thinks that action is the way to live. Work is worship. But work is worship when there is no doership in it. And when there is no doership in work, you are already realized. What else needs to be done? But Bhagavan never created any confusion. He always said that when someone asked, who are you? He said, I am Arunachala Ramana. I am that only. I am not separate. I am nothing else. Because sometimes when you say father, the duality stays. So we always say, oh, okay, my father, get me there. Father, we say, what is this? You do your efforts. Then you say, I've left to my father. And you go your way of all egoistic tendencies. This is a trap, when we keep saying father, father, father. This is what I'm just telling you from what I feel, what Bhagavan's teaching is. And I will say that works best. You say you are Shiva. You say you are self. You say you are Brahman. You say you are that. And then work. And then see what are the things which are obstructing. Watch them, observe them, witness them, and they will drop. And that is that.
Shiva, Arunachala, 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 Shiva, Arunachala.
Bhagavan gives a beautiful example that you are traveling in a train and all the luggage of suffering you are keeping on your head. I have to do this. And already you're on a train which is carrying all the baggage. Every whole world is in that train. You don't want to leave it there, you want to keep it here only. So the TT comes to check your ticket. He says, what are you doing? No, I have to carry my baggage. Because individual has to carry their own baggage. Because everyone is carrying. In that train, everyone is carrying the baggage on their head. Nobody is keeping down. The TT says, don't worry about others. You carry. No, but everyone is carrying. So, but you put it down. No, but everyone is carrying. This is the way we speak all the time, no? That he is a doer, he is doing, he's a doer, he says to me like from ego. What about, this is the way we always justify. I'm seeing in satsang, most of the questions are like that, not on themselves, on others. Like, there is a suffering, who is doing to that? Arey Baba, that is he will sort out. You sort out yourself. First, you put your luggage down. Then you can tell others to put down, And then suffering, unnecessary suffering. You just put your luggage down. The train is going. Already decided.
Divinity is most illogical. Most illogical. Shiva is most illogical. See Shiva, what he is wearing, snakes. He looks, ghost, all sorts of things, Huh? Skulls, on his all followers. What logic? What logic? He is made like this, he is like that to break your logic. Because logic should be broken. Logic is mind, nothing else. It is all illogical. You are always uninvolved. You are never in this play. The one in the play is just your own fake ego, your own reflection in things. You are never involved. You have never done any crime. When you say you are actually keeping with you. Everything is just whatever it is. Don't even say this energy is you.
If you say you are Shiva, Shiva is already gone. You are Vasana, you get into Vasana. Because then you can't leave because it's yours. Whatever thing you say, I, me, you, that becomes you, that never leaves you. So this is the biggest sin which we all do. I am the body, I am the mind, my thoughts. Just thoughts. Why can't you say just thoughts coming in your picture, I have to say spirituality is not for a weak-minded person. Spirituality is for really who can give anything for it. And life is a very small thing for that. Who is ready for everything. And then you see how it stays. Silence is always there. It never changes. We remember or not remember, it does not go away. It is not in our attention. Anything which disturbs us comes in our attention. It's a usual thing with mind. If you have an itch somewhere, or a boil, or pain in the knee, you're not conscious of knee, but if there's a pain, then you're conscious of knee. Same, anything which is disturbing to the senses, then you are aware. And silence never disturbs anyone. It just stays there. It's always there. Because it does not come in our attention, we have to try our best to be attentive of it. That is all practices, nothing else. This also doesn't mean that you cannot talk. After practice, you will also start noticing that you can talk from that silence. Even you can joke, being aware of the silence. Let's say you are in a classroom and the teacher is not there. You do whatever you want to do, the class is so noisy. Sometimes, if it's a new class, one of the students just comes and behaves like a teacher. Everyone is. He says, no, I'm not a teacher. Then again, everyone. And then the other person comes who looks younger than that boy and looks around and says, I'm the teacher. People think, oh, he's joking. And they keep doing. So we have to realize this in us, which is always there. When you are aware of that, You cannot fool yourself and you cannot fool others when you know its presence is there. Otherwise, tell me how people can do wrong things when the God is in everyone, A lot of people ask question that when God is doing and God is in everyone, how people still do wrong acts? Because they are not aware of the godly presence in them. If they are aware, they cannot do. You cannot. We all have heard, a lot of religions talk about God is always watching. But still we do things because we don't see God. God is watching, we don't care. But when we know God is watching, then it's a different story. And that is what happens when you know its presence in you. That means it is enough evidence that there is something in us which we have experienced. And I think that is the only purpose of this satsang. This is the only purpose of retreat. And if you have experienced even for a fraction of a second, then you should be saying, keeping your hand on your heart, that yes, I know that there is something in me. Even if you can't say right now, I am that I am, or I am Shiva, at least you know there is something very divine presence in me, which I felt. And that is a very good starting point. Key to feel it all the time, that bliss which you had, like your mind says it was an experience, is to remember it. And remembrance is by remembering the name, what you like to chant, or remembering by being aware of this silent awareness, or trying to negate your mind by who am I, self-inquiry, when senses are pulling intense desire, thoughts. Who is this? Who is looking for it? I have experienced bliss in me. Why you are pulling me out to get that thing? Okay, I agree that that will give me some happiness because of my old habits. But I don't want to be your slave. I know that I am self-sufficient without your help. So thank you very much, and you can say to your mind or your thoughts, I don't need your help now. And the next thing you can say, I need help from you, the divine in me. Please help me to remember you. You know everything. I am ignorant. And I want you to help me. I want you to help me and to stay in me, because this mind is still there, senses are there, situations, worldly situations are same, and I have zero confidence on myself that I can remember you. So please give me something to remember you, and please don't leave. Stay in me. I really love you and I want you to be here. And I'm creating a space. I'm trying my best to create a space in my heart so the place is clean. This type of prayer is most effective prayer. It always works. It always works. It's even hard to remember when we came and how many days have passed. And if you remember that, whole life will be past and you will have no clue in your own bliss. When the day comes, when the night comes, what happens? People come, people go, incidences happens. When you start a new business or a new job, or you study something, competitive exams, you give 100%, then only you get results. Here it's the same. You put 100% efforts. But still, if there are things where you're putting your 20%, 50%, then it can't be 100% here.
Varuna